then we look, if you like, into this world for a fix on who we are, what the world is, and what's going on. And, of course, who gives us that information? The education system, cabal-controlled. The mainstream media, cabal-controlled. And peer pressure, where people repeat to you what they've been told by the system is who they are and where they are. And so we have this view of everything that is incredibly limited. Now, what I'm saying is that it's not just a case of people in embodiment like we are apparently in embodiment. I think it's more complicated than that, or actually more simple than that.
David, I'm going to have to stop you there for a moment. We're going to go for a break now.
We're having a break, are we?
If you'd like to text in your questions or comments for David Icke, why not do so now to 87778 with the word EDGE, and then your text. See you back here soon. Welcome back to On the Edge with me, Theo Chalmers, and my special guest tonight, David Icke. Okay, David, so if you want to just carry on where you
just
left off then.
Just taking this on briefly. So it's not just like there's this reality and then there's infinite all possibility that I was talking about. There are other levels of reality too. And when our consciousness leaves the body or withdraws from this reality, it's still affected by its vibrational state. And it won't necessarily go to that point of infinite state of infinite consciousness and awareness of itself. And so there are other realms, and in between that, and I kind of saw this when I was researching one of my books, and at that time there was this psychic show on the British cable television show every night for about an hour, and I watched this, and I've seen some others too in America, and these guys are definitely getting something, because the accuracy that they were describing events with was remarkable. But it wasn't, hey, it's all an illusion, you're being manipulated. It was, things like, he says, look after the cat, hey, go for that job, it'll be good for you. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but, and it was kind of accurate when you see the stories that the people in the audience told, which kind of backed it up. But it was very kind of this world stuff. And so it's pretty clear watching that consciousness doesn't necessarily gravitate to, infinite in awareness of itself possibility when it leaves the body. There are many other levels of awareness which are there to gravitate to. Not all of them enlightened, as we would call enlightened anyway.
Okay, well, in the book you say that it's obvious, or you believe it's obvious, that there are other life forms in the universe, other beings presumably on other planets. And yet you describe a hell, if you like, for us. I mean, why do you think it is? I mean, are they going through the thing that we're going through, or why is it just us that seems to have this reptilian, these beings who are out to suck us dry?
I'm not sure we are. I mean, I think that this kind of theme can be quite wide. I mean, we're aware of this. I mean, and so therefore we kind of think it's only us. Well, why does it have to be? I mean, these kind of entities, these predator entities, as I call them, could be all over the place. But, I'm not primarily talking about extraterrestrials in our physical form, although absolutely they exist. I'm talking about a predator race that operates just outside of our ability to perceive them, just outside of the human body's ability to decode that frequency. And so they're just outside of what we are able to perceive, and they possess certain bloodlines within our reality, within what you might call visible light, the electromagnetic spectrum, whatever you want to call it. And this is the significance of the Illuminati bloodlines, because very early on in my journey, I mean, almost within days, certainly within weeks, of meeting that psychic and being told I was going to go on this journey and do all this, and at that time it seemed crazy.
And write lots of books, she also said.
Say again?
She said
and
you
write lots of
lots
books. I would write lots of books. And I'm thinking, I write lots of books about this subject. I don't know anything about it. But very early on, like within weeks at the very least, the area of the world we call Sumer, now Iraq, Babylon, started coming in all the time under different names, Chaldea or whatever, Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers. And it was then leading me to this whole Sumerian tablet stuff, where they talk about the Anunnaki, who kind of bred with humans. And then you look in the Bible, and in Genesis, and it talks about the sons of God, actually the sons of the gods, in truth, that interbred with the daughters of men. And then you start to find that this is a theme all over the ancient world. Like in the Zulu area, they talk about the Chitahuri, the children of the serpent, children of the python. And then you start,
Southern Africa.
In Southern Africa, yeah. And then you look at other forms of religious belief around the world, and serpent worship comes up all over the place. It's the oldest known form so far discovered of human religious worship. It goes back in South Africa, in the Kalahari Desert, with the Bushmen, the Sand People as they're called. 70,000 years they've taken it back through artifacts, etc., etc. And there was a man called the Reverend John Bathurst Dean, who wrote a book called Worship of the Serpent in 1933, in which he looked at serpent worship all over the world and concluded at the end that it was by far the most prevalent form of worship all over the world. And this interbreeding that all these ancient accounts and legends talk about in their various forms created hybrid bloodlines. And so I started to understand as the years passed that this control system, this global control system, is actually the fiefdom, at least within this reality, of a network of interbreeding families that go under different names, and some of them change their names with the passage of history, but it's the bloodline, not the name, that's most important. So the question obviously was, and then you look at the royal families where they, and the aristocracy of the world, where they interbreed with each other. And it's like, oh, no, you mustn't have children with the populace. You must have children with this person with a title and all that stuff. And so the question starts to come, why? What is the obsession with genetics these people have? And then you connect it to the interbreeding. What is it about that genetics? And this is why the period, which is still continuing, of understanding at least the themes of the nature of reality is so important, because you start to realize